Welcome to Pachehra Talks. My name is Arun and I'm Solutions Architect, MCT, working with Novin Tech, which is one of the best organization to work with. This is my channel and these are my views. We are talking about Azure Firewall, all the features we are trying to dive deeper just to have a good understanding of the concepts. And today it's time to explore the web categories feature of Azure Firewall Premium. Yes, we have multiple SKUs, basic, standard, and premium. And these wonderful features are with premium. If you want these features to be used, you gotta opt for premium. Premium is expensive, but definitely comes with wonderful features. So let's try to understand what exactly it is. So what it is, what is web category feature? That's the very first question. We should understand this, then we understand what all we can do when we opt for this feature. So this feature, web category, this feature of Azure Firewall provides administrators or security administrators with the ability to manage and control web access based on the categories. Yes, that's how we can simplify it. These are the categories of websites. That means our administrators can easily manage and control the web access based on these categories rather than going after each and every URL or FQDN. So the categories is like social media. There would be a one category where the group of all the URLs belongs to social media, like your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, things like that. Maybe the gambling, maybe news. So there are different categories. And our administrators, security administrators, can use these categories to configure the rules. And what the rule simply says, allow or deny one particular category, right? So what it does, this feature simplifies the creation and management of web filtering rules by allowing policies to be applied to the category. Okay, category of websites instead of managing list of individual URLs or IP addresses. You can understand the admin overhead. You can understand the frustration of going after each URL and IP. And of course, time it will take. So web category is the solution. This web category in Azure Firewall, how you can think, like today we have this category. Tomorrow there is a new website in the market. Next day there is something else in the market. How could you make sure your web categories are updated? All the content, latest recent content. It's because this is continuously updated by Microsoft. So this Azure Firewall utilizes continuously updated database that classifies websites into categories based on the content. This is continuously working by MS. Okay. Now, with the help of these categories, we can do allow or deny, and it will start acting, and you can have this wonderful feature and help your administrators to do better management, less time consuming, less frustration, right? So this approach streamline web access management and ensure that policies remain effective even as new websites emerges or existing sites change their content, because this is getting continuously updated, right? So what exactly are we achieving with this? We are streamlining web access management. And because of this database, we can ensure the policy remains effective. Now, we know to get this feature, we should have Azure Firewall Premium. We talked about this at the very beginning. Now, let's take an example to make more sense out of it, whatever we have learned till now, till here. Let's suppose if your Azure Firewall intercepts an HTTPS request for www.google.com/news. Okay. Following categorization is expected. For example, if it is standard, only the FQDN part is examined. www.google.com is categorized as search engine. However, if you have a premium firewall, the complete URL is examined. www.google.com/news is categorized as news. This make more sense, right? So I should write it here, www.google.com or www.google.com/news. Now, what I was trying to explain, this is a category of search engine, but this is the category of news. If we have premium firewall, it can go that explicit. But if we do not have premium, we have standard, it will only do this. It will not go the complete URL, right? So that's why it comes with the premium feature. If you do not have premium, then you have to go and do that a lot of manual work. Your security admin must be happy. All right. And there is another feature called web category logging. Okay. We need to understand this. Why? Because you can view traffic that has been filtered by web categories in the application log, right? Because we should know we have chosen the category to apply the rules, but we should also know what all things are getting logged, blocked, and whatever is happening through logs. What are these logs? These are under application logs. So web categories field is only displayed if it has been explicitly configured in your firewall policy application rules through category, right? Let's try to understand this with an example. If you don't have a rule that explicitly denies search engine is what? Web category. And a user request to go to bing.com. Okay. Only a default deny message is displayed as opposed to a web category message. This is because the web category wasn't explicitly configured, right? That's what it means. Now, there is an exception for sure, category exception. You can create an exception to your web category rules, create separate allow or deny rule collection with a higher priority within the rule collection group. For example, you can configure a rule collection that allow linkedin.com. Suppose this is allowed. Okay, linkedin.com is allowed, but it is a social website, right? It is a social media. But what we can do, we can make it a, let's suppose we made the priority as 100 priority. And with the rule collection that denial social media would be 200. Social networking, let's suppose there is a rule deny and the priority is 200. Same, the NSG logic applies here, network security group as compared to priority. Now, this will definitely block, but higher priority says this one is allowed. So all the social media is blocked except this one because this is explicitly allowed, right? So we do have that option here. So all these logging and exception is clear now. Now we have another interesting feature is called search. Okay. Why it is interesting, I'll tell you, because you can identify what category a given FQDN or URL is being used as a web category. For example, you have xyz.com and you think It's educational, but that web category falls under maybe gaming. See the difference? That particular website is under the gaming category on Microsoft web category for firewall, but you think it's educational. You see what I'm saying? So to use this web category search, you need to select the web category tab under firewall policy settings. This is useful when defining your application rules for destination traffic. I'll show you. This is the documentation. Web category search. You can see fqdn microsoft.com. URL is with this. And this is the category of computers and technology, right? This is what I'm talking about. Now, if you're wondering your URL is not in the right category, as I gave some silly example, it must change. Then what to do? Well, don't worry. We have category change option as well under the web categories tab in firewall policy settings. You can request a category change if you think it's not right. For example, think an FQDN or URL should be under a different category. Have a suggested category for an uncategorized FQDN or URL. I'll show you that as well. Just like this one, we have this report incorrect classification. In the same way, change it. So you can raise and change. So once you submit a category change report, you are given a token in the notifications that indicates that we have received the request for processing. You can check whether the request is in progress, denied, or approved by entering the token in the search bar. Be sure to save your token ID to do so. That's kind of information. Now we understood few more thing in the web category search and change. We have the option to change and we have option to search where our URL belongs to. We take the example of Microsoft.com, computer plus technology, with the example of XYZ.com that we think is educational, but category thinks it's gaming. So we can request to change by raising a request. Okay, and we'll get the notification on it. Now, there are categories that do not support TLS termination. And if you are following this series on my channel, you know about it already. We talked about it in what scenarios we do not want TLS to go through, de-encrypt the data. Why? Due to privacy and compliance reasons. Well, there are certain web traffic that is encrypted and cannot be decrypted using TLS termination. We are talking about web categorization, particularly, for example, employee health data transmitted through web traffic over a corporate network shouldn't be TLS terminated due to privacy reasons. So, as a result, the categories which don't support terminations are there already, like education, finance, government, or health and medicine. Health, I should write health and medicine, otherwise, people will think hotel and management, right? All right. So, as a workaround, if you want to have a specific URL to support TLS termination, you can manually add that URL with TLS termination in application rules. For example, you can add www.xyz.edu to application rule to allow this website. So, that's there. And so, it is a very good information regarding this. Now, we have learned so many things, what it is, how it works, how it maintained, the logging information, search, change, and TLS termination options. But finally, I am curious to know how exactly it works. So, how exactly it works? Let's see one by one. The very first thing is websites are automatically categorized into predefined groups based on their content. We call them web categories or categories. And this categorization is maintained by Microsoft. And these are regularly updated to reflect new and changing web content, which is very much important, continuously updated. So, categorization. Then, administrators configure firewall rules based on these categories. For example, they might block access to gambling and adult content while allowing educational sites, just like in corporate. Okay, then we have traffic filtering. When a user attempts to access a website, Azure Firewall checks the request against its category database. If the site category matches a blocked category in the policy, the request is denied. So, traffic filtering. Then, finally, attempts to access blocked categories are logged, providing insights into user behavior and potential security risk. So, logging and reporting. So these are the ways it works. Uh, these are the things that makes it work properly. How it works? By categorization, by policy configuration, traffic filtering, logging, and reporting. These all things we studied till now here, and now we made a plan out of it, how it actually works. Now it's time to understand the benefits of web categories. What are the benefits of web categories? Well, as we said at the very beginning, it will help manage and control. That means administrators can manage access to broad types of internet content without needing to maintain extensive list of URLs. So simplifying management. By blocking access to non-work related categories, organization can reduce distractions and improve employee productivity. So enhance productivity. Categories known for harboring malware such as peer-to-peer or adult content can be blocked, so reducing the security threats and improving the security. And finally, it helps enforce compliance with organizational policies or regulatory standards by controlling access to specific types of content. So, compliance. So, these are some wonderful benefits of utilizing this feature. Why we have to focus on that? Because Firewall Premium is a pretty expensive SKU. So before you request in your organization to go for it, you should know different features and the benefits and why you are going to use it, the problem it is solving. All right, now we are aware of everything, but what are the best practices that we should follow if we are going to opt for this? This is what we are going to understand under best practices. So the very first is regularly review the categories that are allowed and blocked to ensure they align with the organizational policies and needs. Customize the list based on the unique requirements of the organizations. So that needs to be reviewed all the time, which is a good practice. And you need to inform users about the web filtering policies in place, including which category are blocked and why. This can help reduce frustration and support tickets, like people are already aware. Then use the logging and reporting features to monitor web access attempts, adjust policies as needed based on user behavior and emerging security threats, which is monitor and adjust policies. And finally, while it's important to block malicious or distracting categories, ensure legitimate business needs for web access are not unduly restricted. So it's a balanced security. If you're blocking everything, how could you do the business? So you should be aware the things that should be blocked and the things which are needed to perform the business. Now, in the end, let's try to consolidate everything with an example. Consider an organization that has implemented Azure Firewall with web categories enabled. The administrator sets policies to block access to gambling, adult content, and social networking categories to maintain productivity and security, as we talked about. Now, an employee attempting to access a social media site during work hours finds the site blocked and receives a message explaining the restriction. Meanwhile, access to educational and business category is allowed, ensuring employees can reach resources necessary for their work. The system logs these attempts, and administrators review the logs monthly and to adjust policies, of course, ensuring they remain relevant and effective. So, in summary, Azure Firewall Web Category feature provides a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool for managing web access in a way that balances productivity, security, and compliance needs. By following these best practices, organization can effectively implement this feature to enhance their overall security posture while ensuring users have access to the web resources they need to have the access to be productive. Well, with that, I'm going to end the video. I hope it was informative and you learned something new today. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.